Can women be single and happy? I know you want me to give you the correct response from the point of view of social media, not to upset anyone and say, yes, of course they can. They are wise and independent and strong, and they don't need man. Like women today, they don't need man at all. And I have to ask, like, can they be single and happy for a lifetime? I think that's the question. So if you see a woman who's single and happy for 1 year, 2 years, that's great. She's probably doing her inner work, like healing herself from trauma or for like past relationships. She's working on her career, on her health. That's great. Can she sustain that for a lifetime? So I think when we look at this, or when we look to answer this, we have to look at women who are 80 or 90 and they have been single all their life, and they can tell you they are truly happy and they don't regret anything, and they've never been with a man. Unfortunately, like not only psychologically, like for the human race, this is not natural. This is not in our DNA. It's not in our DNA to not want relationships, right? So even if our conscious mind, our conscious aware persona, our conscious part, which is only 5% of us, even if that wants to be happy, and we can do a lot of inner work and mindset work. I love that. I'm a life coach, right? Like, of course, I love working on my brain and telling myself and working on my beliefs. Of course, I can be happy. I'm enough, feeling enough and confident and everything. But at the end of the day, and at the end of my life, nature will win. The animal part of me, 95% of me, whatever I work on to convince my brain, my natural instincts will want to have a partner, will want to have relationships. So the human race, the Homo sapiens, are made to have connection, relationships. They're made for, like, look for a mate, right? Like, even if we say, I don't want anybody, I don't want anybody, we see a lot of women like this. They say, I don't want anybody, but they end up with somebody. Or they end up just hooking up, right? And they say, oh no, like I don't need a relationship, but I still hook up with men. Well, then you still need men, right? So you cannot be happy and single. You still need men. So what is the correct answer? Let's say, like, if you want to look at happy single women, maybe look at women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 90s, who have been single for a very long time and actually didn't need men. If you find these women, they are a rarity. They are kind of the exception. But let's think about what makes a woman happy and how does a happy woman look. So I will imagine just a woman in her 50s. She didn't have a relationship for 20 years. And she's happy like this, like she's not looking, she's not jealous. And these are things that only she knows. She won't tell anyone if she's jealous on her married friends, right? But she didn't look at hookups. She looks healthy. So when we're emotionally not healthy, this will also show up in our weight, on our skin, right? On our vibrancy, in our energy. So we can say we are happy and content with our lives, but we see these women who have maybe their face is tensed up. So when a woman is happy, her face is not tense. All her body is like flowing, right? It's not rigid. It's her hips are not locked. Like she is really almost like flowing, like a feather when she's walking, right? She looks happy, like she looks happy with all her cells. It's not just saying I'm happy and single and look, I don't need man, right? But as women, we have sexual energy, right? We have this vibrancy inside of us. So if we don't use it with men, a healthy, happy single woman will use it to create. Will use it to create books, I don't know, programs. She will use it, paint. She will use it, like she will put all this energy because we have it inside of us, right? And the ones who don't have it, like maybe the sexual energy, they are just, again, a rarity. And they as asexual people, right, who don't need mates, like this is an exception from, if we look at the general population and how our DNA is constructed, like this is an exception. So a woman, like I would say, a woman is truly single and happy when she also looks happy, like her pores look happy, her eyes look happy, she's at peace, She doesn't hate anyone. She doesn't have resentment. She doesn't hate men. She just loves herself so much, and she's having a relationship with herself for life, right? And she's this kind of women, I imagine they create a lot of things. They are very, very creative. Paintings, dancing, theater, cinema, I don't know, right? So this is how I imagine a happy single woman. But again, you have to look, not like me. I admit, if I think about things, I only see like the next step or the next, not even until tomorrow, right? I kind of make decisions on the spot. But if you want to look at something, you have to look at like in 10 years, how will this look like in 10 years, in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So of course we can say, yes, women can be single and happy. And yes, but we have to put like a, yes, they can for 3 months or 3 years, let's say, maybe 5. But being single and happy doesn't mean hooking up with strangers on the internet. That's still needing men. And that's still giving into that animal instinct part of you, right? And I heard these women, they are saying, I'm using men. I don't need men, but I'm using them for my pleasure. So really, you're using men for your pleasure. You don't want a relationship. Your unconscious mind will feel used, like your body will feel used. You're giving life force energy. So instead of creating something, you're giving it to a man. And then you feel depleted and tired, right? Like hooking up with strangers on the internet and thinking you are using them, it's in detriment of your psyche, right? So it's like saying, oh, I only want sex from this man. I don't want other things from him. So I don't want a relationship. Oh, really? So you don't want someone to hold you in his arms when you're suffering? You don't want someone to ask you how work is going, what happened to that colleagues, how's your sister or your mother who is sick? So you only want the sex. So that sounds confident, doesn't it? So I only want to have sex with this person. It doesn't sound like you're benefiting. It sounds that like the other person is benefiting. It sounds like you're not confident. So this is not a happy single woman. A woman who doesn't have self-esteem and self-confidence is not a happy woman, right? I described what I see as a happy woman. And yeah, if you want to be like that, why not, right? Like you can work towards it. And if you change your mind, it's still fine. But my final response is, yes, women can be single and happy on the short term, and no, on the long term, they need relationships. I'm sorry, this is our human race. This is what studies say. Again, it matters more than nutrition and exercise. For our longevity, the quality of our relationships is more important for our longevity, how much we live, right? Like how much, and again, the vibrancy in your body. So this matters more than nutrition and exercise. So I think this says it all. I hope you're happy no matter how you choose to be. And being single for a while is great. I'm not saying it's not great. I would love, like, it's easier to be single. Of course, you make all your decisions. You don't care about other people. In many ways, it is simple, right? So I'm not saying anyone shouldn't be single and everyone should be always in a relationship. No, being single sometimes is great. You can work on your mindset, on your self-confidence and self-esteem, and know what you want from yourself, from life. It's absolutely great. But can you sustain that for 50 years? Like, that's the point, right? Like, we're looking, if we're making a study on this, like, we have to look at like your lifetime. So this is the question that needs to be asked. Is this sustainable for 50 years? I don't know. Everyone can answer for themselves, right? Bye. Have a great day.